Hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi, my name is Nurshazah Amira binti Amir Hamzah. My metric number is 046966. I choose to present about the test 2, question 2, which is about the compare the right of refugee and migrants. Okay, um, so the definition of migrants and refugees. The article A1A2 of the Convention 1951 defines a refugee as an individual who is outside his or her country of nationality or habitual residence, who is unable to unwillingly to return due to a well-founded fear or persecution based on his or her race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or membership in a particular social group. However, migrant worker is defined under the International Labour Organization (ILO) instruments that as a person who migrates from one country to another with a view to be employed other than on his own account and includes any person regularly admitted as a migrant for employment. So uh, the so the the right of refugee is non-refoulement. So basically, non-refoulement is obligation of state not to refund or return a refugee to the frontiers of territory where his life or freedom would be threatened on account of his race, religion, nationality, membership of a particular social group, or political opinion. So then, refugee also have right to asylum and freedom of movement in the host country. An ability to return to one's country is the basis of an asylum. The refugee also has right to choose their place of residence within the territory and to move freely within the state. Right, liberty and security. The right of liberty and security, there are some specific safeguard against arbitrary detention or other restriction on movement relevant to refugee and asylum seekers contained in Convention 1951. And then refugee also have right of the refugee family. In if an individual is granted asylum, his or her independent relative will also receive protection through him or her. The refugee also has right to wage earning employment. This is granted to the refugee if they fulfill the one of conditions stated in the Article 70 paragraph 2A. And then we move to the migrants worker right. The migrant workers' right to freedom of association, organize, and collective bargaining. The CAC and F called upon the drafter of ASEAN instrument to ensure that migrant workers are guaranteed the right to freedom of association and collective bargaining in accordance with ILO conventions. Right freedoms of movement. The migrant workers also have freedom of movement according to Article 12 of the ICCPR that provide the right of freedom of movement to migrant workers and this right is referenced by Article 39 of the ICRMW. Right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. Article 18 of the ICCPR and Article 12 sub 1 of the ICRMW, which provide that migrant workers and members of their family have the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. There are also the right of migrant children. Based on the Article 7 of the CRC, the registration to children born of migrant workers should be considered a joint obligation of send and receive state and such legislation should be provided to the child regardless of the legal status of the parents. Also, right to marriage and family life, based on the Article 23 of the ICCPR set out an essential truth by declaring the family is a natural and fundamental group unit of society. Then the similarity between both right between migrants and refugee is obviously the right of family, the right of freedom of movement, and both also have right to wage earning employment and property rights. It is very similarly important to recall that international human rights law protect all individuals regardless of their status. The principle of non-refoulement applies to all persons under the jurisdiction of effective control of the state, whatever their status. All migrants and refugees are entitled to the protection as well as respect and fulfillment of the human rights regardless of status, with only narrowly defined and limited exceptions. So the conclusion, both refugee and migrant workers should be protected direct by the host country under international law. Um, and the only difference of both type of this person is their definition and attention. Thank you. That's all from me.